Good. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the WatchTower. I'm your host, Camden Hampshire. We got a very good, well-executed, planned stream for you tonight. We are going to be talking about propaganda, the history of it, how it shapes society, and how it still shapes society today. And we're also going to be talking about something I've mentioned a lot of the times in the past videos, which is AI and the Trump administration and these investment in tech giants in Texas building a $500 billion AI data system to, I guess, keep up with the new AI technology that's happening all over the world. So it's going to be a good stream. So we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it. And I kind of wanted to start with the history of propaganda and sort of what its background is, where it comes from, and sort of how it shapes society today in normal TV shows, movies, videos that you see on social media. And I wanted to start with a person named Mark Bernays Randolph. Can you take a wild guess who that is? Mark Bernays Randolph is the original co-founder and CEO of Netflix. Now, what the hell is Netflix in 2025? It's transgender ideology, same-sex marriages, all kinds of propaganda that you can think of to stray everybody away from the average heterosexual man and woman relationship. And, you know, like, it gets pumped into Netflix nowadays. I think Netflix just bought, was it Paramount or Warner Brothers or something like that, some big conglomerate movie network, and that's just going to be a complete shit show in and of itself. So, like, these multi-billion-dollar corporations like Netflix, like Warner Brothers, all these movie networks, they're starting to really show their true colors and what their true incentive is to try and propagate what they really want you to see. And this isn't the whole transgender thing and same-sex marriages. I mean, and I'm not talking about like just regular TV shows. I'm talking about children's shows. I'm talking about shows for infants and young children, feeding this garbage into their mind that they can be whoever they want to be. Oh, you want to have she, her, they, them, z, them, p, y, whatever pronouns. It's all garbage. Like, this isn't some type of sexual revolt against society. It's a very well propagated plan to destroy the minds of the people in society, of this young generation, because they are the young and next up-and-coming generation. And it doesn't affect so much. I mean, it does. Like, my generation, Gen Z, it really does affect our generation. And obviously, the boomers, I mean, it doesn't really affect them at all. But, like, my generation, not so much, but it's more the next generation of what's to come. I mean, I see these 14, 15, 16-year-olds on social media that they choose to feel depressed and anxious just because they saw it on a social media post. They choose to go to the doctor and say they're depressed and get on these on all this different type of pain medication because they say they're depressed, because they saw it on a social media post. They say they're anxious. They say they're depressed without actually digging down deep and wondering how come they are truly like this. Is it because they spend 15 hours a day doom scrolling on social media? Or is it because they have an actual neurological problem in their brain that actually makes them, no matter how much stuff they get, no matter how much happiness they get, they still feel a certain way. And like I said, this isn't some type of sexual revolt against society. It's a very well planned and executed, socially engineered, trained thing to get people to really go against the so-called system of what we've been known to for the last 500 years. And I wanted to start with Mark Bernays Randolph because there are some very crazy connections. Mark Bernays Randolph is the great nephew of Edward Bernays. Edward Bernays is the son of Anna Freud, who was also the brother of Sigmund Freud, the famous psychoanalysis. And Sigmund Freud was a psychoanalyst in the early 1900s, 1910s, 1920s, and he was a very, very disgusting human being. He wrote books about how his father raped him and all his siblings. He wrote books about how children are... There's not really a way to say this without it sounding disgusting. He wrote articles and books on how kids are attracted to their parents even after their parents abuse them in that sort of way. Just a disgusting human being. He never taught in schools, thank God. I know he was a professor at a university at one point, but so Anna Freud, his sister, who he claimed got sexually abused multiple times by their father, gave birth to Edward Bernays. Edward Bernays grew up in his late teens, early 20s, to become a psychoanalyst like his uncle, like Freud. And the start of this is basically when Edward Bernays was about 25, 26 years old, he got hired by Woodrow Wilson in 1917 on the Committee of Public Information during World War I. And basically what he did was he propagated information, because when Austria and Germany were fighting in the First World War, America declared that they were going to step in and fight. Both of them, both Austria and Germany. And so Edward Bernays got hired on the Committee of Public Information in 1917 and basically propagated that President Woodrow Wilson was going to liberate and make peace with all these countries that they're fighting against. You know, they created all these billboards, commercials, all these different things to basically propagate that America was going to be the liberator in this situation. And finally, when America pushed Germany and won in 1918, he basically said, okay, hey, I propagated that America could be the liberator in this situation in war, so why don't I bring that to the United States? And that's exactly what he did. He used his uncle's psychoanalysis techniques and orchestrated media events to make it seem like the United States was fighting this war for democracy. We're going to fight for democracy, for peace, for liberty in the United States. It's all, I mean, it all starts, it's square one. It all starts from the very beginning. So after that, he basically came to the U.S., moved to New York, and he said, okay, if I can sort of propagate countries to either look like the bad or good guy, I can easily manipulate the masses. So he turned to not his uncle though. He turned to different psychoanalysts, famous psychoanalysts and psychologists throughout New York. And he asked them, how can I manipulate the masses and socially engineer these people to consume more and to give them stuff that they don't need, to feed their emotions that they don't even know they have, while simultaneously making money for it? And he started with feminism and smoking. Because at that time, during the early 20s, smoking was pretty much portrayed for a woman as bad. You know, husbands pretty much forbid their wives to not smoke because it was a bad look. And Edward Bernays looked at this and he said, okay. So I'm not sure what the timeline of this was, but it was sometime in the mid-20s, something like that, 1920s. And he basically started a campaign, and he called it the Torches of Freedom. He said, hey, why don't we pay these groups of women to go to these certain festivals and these certain festivals and all these sorts of events that are going out in public in the streets, walking around, marching, whatever. And he basically paid a group of ladies to smoke cigarettes. And he called them the Torches of Freedom. He started to propagandate that cigarettes were a clash against feminism, against the male psyche of, you can't smoke because it's a bad look, because it looks bad. It's going to make you look bad. It's going to embarrass me. He completely propagated that in a way where it was pretty much perfect. And that was sort of the first wake-up call of a woman's revolt against, you know, the so-called masculine system, against the men who had been running everything, running the household, running the businesses all years and years before. So, you know, he got hired. He created this campaign, and he worked on other campaigns. And it just poses the question, like, consumerism in America is definitely one of our biggest detriments. Because he figured out that there's a certain thing in your brain, in your psyche, that triggers these emotions when you buy something, because you feel like you need it, and it gives you that little dopamine or whatever spike in your brain. And once you reach that certain thing, you realize that it's not going to make you any more happier or any more worse off than you were before. It's going to be a nothingness of emotion. So consumerism kind of started that wave in the 20s and 30s because everybody was because it was the tail end of the Industrial Revolution. And everybody was kind of like, okay, we've formulated these big construction plans and these buildings and these railroad systems and coal systems, railroad systems, all these different factories. You know, that's when Ford was getting its rise. And they said, what can we do to get the average middle class person consistently in that slave rat wheel of consistently working to buy things that they don't need? And it all comes down to buying shit you don't need. And it happens to this very day. Americans are in billions of dollars in credit card debt for shit that they absolutely do not need. It has trailed the American people for the last 100 years. Even before credit cards in the 1960s and 70s, when those came, even before, it was all cash. You couldn't just swipe a credit card and say, hey, I'll pay on it 2 months later. So, I mean, consumerism keeps you, like I said, it keeps you in the rat wheel. It keeps you in the rat race. And so kind of circling back to my original point, where do we see that today? Consumerism isn't just products. Consumerism is whatever they feed into the mass media. Whatever they feed into Fox News, CNN. And quite honestly, if you watch any of those still, I mean, frankly, it's freaking boomers now. It's straight old people sitting in the recliner being like, yeah, Joe Biden's a piece of shit, or Trump's a piece of shit, or whatever. Like it's just straight garbage. It's straight goy slop. It's garbage. So, and these boomers just eat it up. I mean, like, Gen Z has been, so far from what I've seen, has been sort of the biggest revolt against what we've been known to over the past 100 years, which is what the media has been helping us consume. And like I said, it is not just products. It's the news, it's politics, it's foreign policy, and over the last 10 years, it's AI. It's being implemented into these news networks into thinking that AI is our friend and is here to stay. And it is really crazy to me that I wouldn't have expected somebody like Donald Trump to be pro-AI. But for somebody like Donald Trump, who has, and this is not anti-Semitic. For Trump to have a big circle of his administration around him, to all be pro-Israel, to all be Jewish. I'm not saying I have a problem with that. That's fine. But what I'm saying is Trump has so many people in his circle, in his ear, whom just so happen to work with the tech billionaires of this new AI system, of these new AI startup companies. Sam Altman, Larry Ellison, Peter Thiel. Who do you think they're in bed with? Who do you think they're friends with? It's all a close-knit circle of buddies playing around a golf, drinking cigars. Hey, did you get Trump to sign that? Oh, shit. Did you get Trump to sign that AI deal? Yeah, I did. What a loser. What a boomer. Trump doesn't know shit about AI. Trump doesn't know anything. He just signs it because he sees money signs. $500 billion? Okay, sign. We've already seen like this upcoming, like we've already seen upcoming surveillance throughout the cities. We've already seen cameras on every corner. We've already seen facial and thumbprint recognition. We've already seen all that. Operation Stargate is what it's called. It is a $500 billion AI data center built in, I think it's Central Texas, and it is ran by the Trump administration, Sam Altman of OpenAI, Larry Ellison of Oracle, and I think Peter Thiel of Palantir, and one other investment group. And it poses the question, like, and this is just me posing a question, if the Trump administration and Republicans are so limited government, so they say, why do they want AI in our backyard? Why do they want these AI data systems in America? What is that going to do? It's going to fuel the fire more for these startup surveillance companies and these startup AI social media companies to just spy on the American populace more. There is no longer going to be a such thing called privacy. No more can we look at this and say, I am private in my phone calls, in my text messages, in my photos, in everything that I post, and everything that anybody that I talk to, anybody and everybody. It is no longer privacy. And it's only getting worse. Abilene, Texas. Project was formally announced in January of 2025. The full plan for Stargate is up to 10 gigawatts of data center capacity and up to $500 billion invested by 2029. And this isn't just the first AI data center that we've seen in the US. I have a list of 4 other ones that are already being built or are planning to be built. Shackleford County, Texas. Milam County, Texas. Dona Ana County, New Mexico. Lordstown, Ohio. And an unnamed location in the U.S., in the Midwest somewhere. These are just a few of many data centers that are going to be built throughout strategically placed states in America. Who do you think's next? California. California is next. I know it is. The main campus of Stargate is planned to draw up to 1.2 gigawatts of power once fully built. A million homes is what that's equivalent to. A million homes. What does that say about the surrounding neighborhoods that are around there. Those people can't live like that. They're going to turn on their faucet. There's going to be no water. Those giant cooling towers, it's going to take millions of gallons a day to be able to cool those systems. And everybody just looks at this and says, okay, no questions. What is it for? Are you going to implement chips that's going to blow up once we talk about a certain foreign nation? Are the chips going to blow up if we say there's only 2 genders? Certain chips, certain surveillance systems, certain infrared camera systems, military grade weapons. Like, why are they powering this more? For what? For what? It's an investment. Oh, it's an investment. No need to worry. It's an investment. Don't worry. It's an investment. Don't trip. It's an investment. No. You don't get to ask questions. No, it's okay. No. Investment. Somebody's going to say, oh, so, with the new... Nope. Investment. Yeah, but Trump, I just want to... Nope. Investment. What are they for? Nobody knows. Nobody's ever going to know. And the company says the Abilene campus used a closed-loop, non-evaporative liquid cooling system, which reduces ongoing water uses compared to additional... Oh, it reduces ongoing water usage compared with traditional evaporative cooling. Yeah, that's helping the environment. Because we already got the Democrats and the left-wing media saying that global warming is coming and raining down on us. The sea levels are rising. The temperatures are going up. It's going to be 135 degrees in San Antonio in July. Unbelievable, man. According to statements from company officials, the campus required about 1 million gallons of municipal water for its initial fill. I watched a video of, there was some data center. I'm not sure if it was an artificial intelligence data center, but it was some type of data center, I think in Ohio. And they filmed this couple that lived in a house near it. And this lady, this poor couple, they turned on the faucet and it's just drip, 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 drip. They had to fill up 5 gallons of water, of these big old 5-gallon water jugs at a time, just to get water throughout the week. Electricity? Psh, goodbye. Generators. Get a generator. Go to Walmart. Get a generator. You'll be fine. Let's do that. And not only that, it's like, what about the price of the homes? What about the price of the homes? You live in Central Texas. Okay, let's say. Let's say medium, 350,000. Nobody's going to want to live there. Nobody's going to want to live to a fucking potential big giant AI data center bomb. Nobody's going to want to live near that. These home prices are just going to plummet. These people are going to be ass out. So they're going to be forced to stay because they're going to lose their ass when they sell. And after that fill, the data center operator claims maintenance needs are small. They're small. 12,000 gallons per year per building. Yeah, right. Which they call remarkably low for a facility of that size. However, broader context for data centers in Texas is worrying. A mid-sized data center can use 360,000 gallons a day. And the bigger ones, 1.4 million gallons of water a day. That sounds more like it. 12,000, 1.4. It's a small gap. Research estimates that data centers collectively could consume billions of gallons of water annually. Some projections for 2030 suggest water usage by data centers could reach several percent of total state water consumption. Really? I mean, granted, like, I think compared to a state like California, Texas gets a lot more rain. What if they put one in fucking Bakersfield? That would be shit. What if they put one in Bakersfield? There would be nothing. They would try and go... They would try and drill a well and nothing would come out. No water. It's dry as shit there. There's nothing there. I mean, like, and some of the people, like, they're obviously concerned about it. I mean, this is in Texas. Some locals are enthusiastic. Yeah, give me a break. They see the data center as a path to growth. How, like, I'm going to get $100K a year working on AI robots that want to kill me. More jobs, new residents, improved economy. Yeah, you're going to get some weirdo billionaire, multimillionaire investors next to you that are some freaking pedos. But even among them, there's mixed feelings due to water and power needs. Yeah, all those people that are enthusiastic about it, they're going to be real enthusiastic when their fucking electric bill goes to $750,000 a month. One resident says, I don't want it to affect the intimacy and safe space that we live in. You're in for a big surprise. I really worry about where the cost is going to affect us in our pockets when it comes to our electric bills. No shit, you're dumb. Like, it's gonna skyrocket. You need to move out of that place. But these people are, bro, Americans are so dumb. A lot of Americans are so stupid, they're just gonna stay there. They're going to stay there until the property value is going to go from $350,000 to $25,000, and they're going to have to drink water from the lake every day and shower at the lake. Like, they're not going to, it's not going to improve. It's going to get worse before it gets any better. Some voices are strongly critical, especially among people already concerned about drought, environmental impact, and sustainability. For example, quote, data centers destroy the communities they pop up in. These people here are morons and will believe anything a liar tells them. We're fucked. That's quote. He's right. Experts and water policy researchers warn the mismatch between rapid tech infrastructure build-outs and long-term water supply planning. One said that placing big data centers in small, drought-prone communities may push water supplies to the brink. You say? You don't say, huh? You think? Dude, people are dumb. Like, what are we doing here? Why? Why would you build it? Build it in the Amazon rainforest, where it fucking rains 30 times a week. Build it somewhere where it freaking rains like crazy. You can have all the water you want. You want to build it in BFE in Texas? You want to build it in Bakersfield? I will laugh my ass off if they build it in Bakersfield. I will laugh my ass off. But, I mean, they've already built these systems and these data centers in Silicon Valley. Who's to say they're not going to build them in California, in Central California, in Northern California, in Southern like they're going to. For what? For what? And I think this is like, call me a big conspiracy theorist, but like, we are being overran by AI. Overran by AI, and people are just like, it's fine. Let the robots take over. Let let Will Smith fight them all off like fucking iRobot. I mean, come on, man. Like, let's be real. Like, it's just like these investors and these politicians that live in these states and are state representatives, they just see this. They see this. Hey, we'll give you $50 million if you shut up. If you don't say shit, we'll give you $50 million. Yeah. You see that? You see that 4 million square foot building where we're designing robots to kill all human civilization? Yeah, here's $50 million. Don't say shit. What are they building in there? Truly, like, nobody cares. Nobody even bats an eye. Nobody's even speaking about it. I mean, we live in a clown world, man. Like, I'm not pro AI. I'm pro fucking human. I am pro human. I am not pro robot. I am not pro robot. I'm not pro clanker. That's what I'm not pro. And I mean, if you start to see these data centers in California, it's just going to be a mess because California farmers and ranchers feed like 75% of the fucking world. And they already struggle enough with taxes on their water and water usage and water rights and water restrictions. And California is one of the most prone states to fight with these big power conglomerates already. Edison, SoCal, PG&E, like SoCal Edison, PG&E, all these different conglomerate power companies have been caught numerous times all throughout California, raising rates and doing these crazy, stupid efficiency programs just to get more money. That shit didn't work. Your electricity bill is still $650 a month in the summer. It's ridiculous. It is crazy. Go solar. Spend 50 grand. Yeah, it's a good alternative. But like, where are they going to build them at in California? And this is something that is sort of like boring to talk about, I guess, but it's like, it's not boring to talk about until it's here. Like, until it actually happens. Because it's already happening in Texas. I remember seeing people used to joke about AI. AI isn't going to get anywhere. Now you can't even tell the difference on a social media post. You could barely tell the difference between what is real and what is fake on AI. You're going to see in the future, you're going to see false flags. You're going to see false flags. You're going to see blackmail. And you're going to see Project Blue Beam type like false flag scenarios using AI to be able to scare the masses and persuade the masses. Remember all over social media, Project Bluebeam? You think that went anywhere? Like, that's still very real and could potentially happen. This fake, perpetuated AI display alien attack system. Like, I sound like Alex Jones right now, but it's true. Like, this is something that is talked about a lot. But, like, you're going to see blackmail, these honeypot networking using AI to be able to blackmail people for money and for power. Epstein did it in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s without using AI. You really don't think if AI was around today, Jeffrey Epstein wouldn't use it? He wouldn't put a politician in a room with a child without any clothes on to try and blackmail them? You don't think he would do that? Of course he would. Of course he would. Because guess what? He had pictures. I mean, don't even... I mean, not to even get started on the Epstein files. I mean, that's just a load of shit. Haven't seen anything from that. Haven't seen nothing from that. Nothing at all. So, I mean, it's crazy, man. You're gonna see these false flag situations where people get really, really screwed because of AI and what it's doing and how it's manipulating people. So, how are we right now? Timeline?
40 minutes.
40? Okay. Yeah, I mean, like, you could say that AI is used for good. Some people use it for good, some people use it for bad, but I wanted to bring light this company that I found. And, I'm not sure if this is in the public eye or this could even be possible, but, I mean, anything's possible. There's a company called Cognify. Cognify is this AI data system startup company that uses like a video game VR type augmented reality system to be able to put on like these tests on certain people like prisoners. Essentially, that's what they made them for. And this is what pops up when you search it up. Cognify refers to several distinct concepts, most notably a futuristic prison idea for empathy-based rehabilitation via implanted artificial memories, an AI-powered workflow optimizer for Gen AI, and a game-based aptitude test for hiring, along with other AI/tech tools for content, data, and education. What do they want to do with this? Well, they want to take a prisoner, somebody who commits murder, somebody who does a bad crime, and let's say in the normal judicial system, they would serve 25 years for murder. They want to take a prisoner like that and implement this aptitude type VR system, put it on their head. And what they want to do is their entire 25-year prison system is going to be served within 5 minutes of them wearing that. And within those 5 minutes, they're going to serve their entire sentence. They're going to feel every and any emotion that their victims and their victims' family ever felt. And it's almost like a game for empathy. They're going to feel empathy, and they're going to feel sorry for what they did, and they're going to try and change their life around. They're not going to serve 25 years no more. They're going to serve 5 minutes. It's going to probably feel like 25 years, but it's not. It's not. So, what does that say? This is a startup company. I'm not sure where. Probably in the Middle East somewhere. I don't know what country. But I don't know. Like, we would just have to see. Because you almost can predict what's going to happen. They're going to come out with this, and somebody's going to test it out. A prisoner's going to be like, oh, I'm finally ready to go out into the public. I feel empathy. I feel emotion. I feel everything. Then boom, next day, They're going to go kill somebody else. They're going to do the exact same thing that they did from the very beginning. Or it's going to be some, what is it? What is the LSD thing that it's going to be some MK Ultra type situation where it completely defrags desensitizes their brain and they just become dumb as shit. They're going to come out like drooling of the mouth, and they're going to be 6 years old again, barely learning words in the alphabet. So, Ricardo, did you learn your lesson? Did you serve the 25 years? Yeah, I did. Okay. Like, one of the two is going to happen. So that's another shit show. I mean, it's happening. It's happening in America. Nobody could have ever dreamed that the world was going to get fucking taken over by robots, but here we are. I don't pose it as nobody poses it as a big threat. I do. I mean, shit, the FBI can already hear us. The FBI is listening right now. Through everything. I don't know, man. I mean, if somebody wants to be just a number instead of just a regular human being who has dignity and morals and wants a family, like, if somebody wants to be like that, who has nothing and just wants to be a robot slave to what's going to come in the next 30 years, I mean, so be it. Charles Schwab in the World Economic Forum, 2030, some big year plan, like, you will own nothing and you will be happy. Like, you really think people joke about that? You really think they would put on a full world conference and just say, oh, it was all one big joke? Like, no, it's not. It really isn't. It's crazy, man. I mean, nobody wakes up to this. Everybody's still sleeping. Nobody cares. Everybody's all tapped into their lives. Everybody's tapped into their phones. What's going on with this? Nobody's worried about AI and surveillance and being watched 24/7 and getting a digital ID. Digital ID in America. That's what's coming next. It's already in the European nation. It's already there. America is next. I guarantee it. So is that going to be something? I mean, after digital ID, it's just downhill from there. Like, we are on the last strip of actual freedom, because if you are not jabbed, if you are not, like, if you are able to withstand any sort of, like, alone time by yourself with no electronics, that is your last strip of freedom. It's your last strip of freedom. Because after that, you will no longer be able to just cut your cell phone off, throw it in the garbage, and go live in the mountains off where there's no GPS, no satellite, no nothing. It's the last strip of freedom before they know your every step, every move, whatever you do, whatever you post, whatever you talk to. And there's a lot of people out there that say, hey, you know what? If they're going to do that, then fine. But that's not me, because I want my privacy. I want to be able to live in peace at times and get away from this crazy political world of nothingness. Trust me, I don't like to see this garbage in the news. Nobody does. But you have to cover it. You have to cover it. Otherwise, people are just going to look at it and scroll right past it. Scroll right past it. But guess what? People are propagandized in a bad way and also a good way, because if you propagate certain narratives so much that are actually true, you start to get masses of people who actually believe it. Information is so important, because if you start pushing it so harder and harder and harder, people are actually going to start to believe it. Now, like, people use that mainly for bad, but there's people out there who still do it for good. And I am a perpetrator for somebody. I'm a person who wants to propagate it for good. Because the most influential and most important thing you can have is knowledge. And knowledge comes from information. But you have to ask yourself, where does your information come from? Where does your news come from? Where did that article you see, where does that come from? Are you going to believe this multi-billion-dollar news corporation that has been on record lying multiple times and have stolen millions upon millions of dollars from people? Or are you going to believe the little live stream podcaster who does it in his fucking basement for free? Granted, there's some people out there that still lie, but most people wouldn't even waste their time, because humans are inherently lazy. So really think about that. Like, think about where your information comes. Think about where your knowledge comes from. And really ask yourself, is this information going to help me or hurt me? And this information is going to help you by hurting you. Because this is stuff, this is not made up. This is stuff that is actually happening. So, I want to do this for good. And I do have some very important things, very important people, very important things that are coming in the future. This is just the very beginning. So really think about where information comes from and who propagates it to you. That's it. Like I said, I have really exciting things coming, and I want to share it with you. And it's going to be fun. So take this as not necessarily a lesson, but something to look upon. Like, I don't know. I don't even know what else to say. I'm excited for the future, and I really thank you for tuning in and watching. And we're going to be shooting an episode every single week. Going to be live streaming at least once a week, maybe twice a week. We'll see how things go. And I want people to comment what their thoughts are and what do you want me to cover. I will cover pretty much anything. Let me know what you want me to cover, what you want me to react to. We're going to try and figure out how to react to videos on stream. And yeah, just comment what you think. Make sure to like the video, subscribe, and I thank you again for tuning in. And you are watching the WatchTower. I'm Cameron Hampshire, and I am out.